So based on the waste management, as we have seen in the last of the video, that we have taken out the three different sectors of the plastic waste management: plastic waste management by Capisia, plastic waste management by area, and by the country, where each one is contributing to the waste materials product inside the ocean. So continuing the same, we have actually divided this one into three different waste products, which is littered waste, unlittered waste, inadequately disposed waste. What is littered waste is basically this one that is not inside the ocean, but it's kept outside of the ocean, and we can see all the plastic bottles, plastic chips, and plastic materials are keep laying or lay low by the beach of each of the ocean. The unlittered waste is basically it is floating, and neither it is being consumed by the ocean predators or ocean animals. It has just been floating inside or on the surface of the ocean. And inadequately disposed waste is the third one, which is actually floating across the ocean, and it is keep getting into the ocean corridor, which we discussed about the Greater Pacific Disposed Patch, or GPGP. So continuing with the same, we are here to work upon the plastic waste through the Power BI, and today we will actually see how the DAX is helping us to continue this journey. So before that, we will be deploying the DAX. So let's work on to it. Once we working with the DAX, we will first take upon our model, which is basically the modeling is here. The mismanaged waste and the plastic waste is two different bi-sided or bipolar the data is flowing, as well as the plastic waste and inadequately is the bipolar side of this is flowing. But it is one to many, means the data is traveling from here to here in the mismanaged plastic waste to the inadequately managed plastic waste, is for a reason that mismanagement and inadequately management are various or different scenarios, and that needed to be dealt separately. So once we are into here, let's continue with our DAX expressions. So what I will do is I will specifically take a calculation table in a separate. So I will take the one and I will put as a calculations in here. Once I am putting the calculations using Power BI, I will load the data inside the Power BI engine, and we can see it is right here in front of us in the sections in here. Now in here I have a small column, and in there I can use a new measure whenever I want to. So let's do that as well. Let's go to our query editing window, or the query engine kitchen, as people normally says. And in here I will take the calculations, and in this I will take a new measure. In this new measure I will first actually apply for inadequately disposed materials. So it should be inadequately disposed materials, which is equals to, I will use the median as my function, and in this median I will specifically use the column name, which is basically I will take the share of plastic inadequately managed, and once I'm here I will run through it, and I have one measure as of here now. So once I have this measure in here, I can simply go to the column, or I can simply go to the column in here and I can delete this column. So I have inadequately disposed management. I have one calculations. If I take another measure, so in this time I will do is basically the littered waste. So let me keep the magnifier a little bit down so that I can have a proper visual. So if I take the littered waste, I can simply use the littered waste as my simply function as the count, and in this count function I will simply use the mismanaged plastic waste, which is this one. If I using this, I can count on that how many mismanagement plastic waste has actually happened, and if I do this, it is coming up in here as well. And it gives me the third one, which is basically the third option, which is the unlittered waste. So I will use the unlittered waste in here. So in this I will use the maximum unlittered waste that has actually happened is needed to be find out, and in this I will use the per capita, that means per country how much they have actually taken up into. So I will simply use the per capita in through my IntelliSense, and that needed to be per capita, that is kilograms per person per day. So if I use it, I have these three measures right sitting in front of me in here. Now if I simply use these measures to my visualization pan, I can simply get it in here that I will use the visuals of each of these in separate sections. So let's get on work with it. So once I have coming to this, I will take the littered or the unlittered waste first. So I will take the unlittered waste in here, and in this, along with this, I will take the per capita, which was my part, and in this I will simply use the visual, which is basically I can take this one as my favorite one. In this we can see that normally 3.6% of the people are actually not using the unlittered, but rest of the more of the other percentages are keeping it much more littered waste across this ocean. I will share this PBX file so that you can have a look into it. Now second one, I will try to take this inadequately disposed, and in that I will take the share of plastic as my main part, and in this I will keep this in here, and I will specifically draw this using my this chart, and I can see that since I haven't used it this one, and I am trying to use this one as well, in here it is giving me the particular in total, that is I have to understand that this one has to go to the, if I put in the category, it is giving me this particular visuals in here. So I will simply broad this one, and I will simply also increase the size of this one as well. And the one thing which I want to say, that I have actually used this one, and this one for my actually slicers for the next part. And now if I use the littered waste, which is the biggest menace, using each of these three different terms, I can keep this one in here, and with this funnel pipe, if I take these visualizations, it is coming to this part. Now this all along goes well, but if I take the mismanagement one, which is the biggest menace for everything, I can figure out that this mismanagement as my main slicer can give me the visual lookout into this whole scenario in picture. So if I take this in here, and if I take this as a slicer, so the moment I increase it, my funnel is actually getting closer and narrower. That means 0.99 to 27.0 is actually the number of the wastage products happening across the world, and here the share of plastic inadequately managed is much more and much more bigger rather than the other part of the scenario. So if I increase a little bit more, you can see that it is getting darker and darker. Similarly, if I little bit decrease from the top side, I can get the values are getting in stepwise for each of the share plastic range, that is getting increase and decreasing simultaneously. And if I take the unlittered waste in this case scenario, I can say that very well that it is that maximum or per capita waste is getting increasing as the number of people are not taking care of the wastage or the waste of the products as they're supposed to be. So therefore this one gives me a particular visuals or a value for my littered waste using DAX. In the next video, I will actually try to use a regular or a more efficient DAX or the more in-depth analysis of this wastage products into the scenario. Let's make it to our account so that we can save our animal and give them to a nice breathing life. I have already mentioned this DAX formulas in here, and with this I'll say thank you. If you like my video, if you like my work, please do subscribe to my channel, give a like, as well as share your comments. Thank you.